For this lesson, we're going to be looking at finding range, quartiles, and interquartile range from a set of data. Whenever we're dealing with range or quartiles, we should start by listing the data in ascending order. So we're going to list this or rewrite it from least to greatest. So as you go through your data, you start with your smallest number. We're starting with 1. So that is gone. There's no 2s, no 3s, no 4s, no 5s. It looks like 6 is next. So the first thing that we're going to look at is our range. And the range shows you the difference between your highest value and your lowest value. So to find range, we want to take our highest value and subtract our lowest value from it. Our highest value is 45. Our lowest value is 1. So 45 minus 1 gives us 44. So the range in this set of data is 44. The next thing that we'll look at are quartiles. And quartiles break the data into 25% chunks. So the first thing we want to do to find our quartiles is find the median in the set of data. And your median is your middle point of data. There's 12 pieces of data here. 12 divided by 2 is 6, so the halfway point is 6. But because there's an even amount, we're going to take the 6th and 7th numbers and we'll find an average of that to get the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here. So between 18 and 20, that splits our data in half. And we're going to take the average of 18 and 20 to figure out what our median is. So 18 plus 20 is 38. So we have 38 divided by 2 to find the average. 38 divided by 2 is 19. So this median, that is our median in the set of data. That's our middle point of data. That's also known as quartile 2. What this created was a lower half of data and an upper half of data. To find our other two quartiles, we need to find the median of the lower half and then the median of the upper half. So once we split our data in half, we have 6 numbers on the left side and 6 on the right side. 6 is another even number. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so we're going to take the 3rd and the 4th numbers, which are 7 and 11 here. And when we find the average between 7 and 11, 7 plus 11 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So our median of our lower half, also known as quartile 1, or our lower quartile, is 9. And then looking at our upper half, there are another 6 set of numbers, or a set of 6 numbers here. It's between 28 and 24 would be our 3rd and 4th numbers. When we add up 28 and 34, that gives us 62. 62 divided by 2 is 31. So our upper quartile, or quartile 3, is 31. Once we find our quartiles break the data into 25% chunks, so that it breaks the data into fourths. Our lower quartile was 9, our quartile 2, or our median, was 19, and 31 was our upper quartile. So we can now look at the data based off of percentages, and we could say the middle 50% of data, that right there, that's between 9 and 31. So we could say that 50% of the data is between 9 and 31. We could also look at this data and we could say that 31 here, if we're looking at 31, we could say that 25% of the data is greater than 31. We could also say that 75% of the data is less than 31. If we took one of those other numbers, let's look at 9. I could say the same with 9. We could say that 75% of the numbers are greater than 9, or we could say that 25% of the numbers are less than 9. we could look at the data in half, and we could say that if we wanted to cut it in half, we could say 50% of the data is greater than 19, 50% of the data is less than 19. So the quartiles allow us to describe our data in 25% chunks. Once we find our quartiles, we could also look at the range between our interquartiles. So we could look, this is the interquartile range. You'll also see it as IQR. And what we're doing is looking at the range between our quartiles. So the range between our quartiles would be our upper quartile, or quartile 3, minus quartile 1, and that gives us our interquartile range. So in this case it's 31 minus 9, and 31 minus 9 leaves us with 22. So our interquartile range is 22, and this shows us the difference between that middle 50% of data. So it could show how widespread the data is, or how close those numbers are in that middle 50%.